Hello and welcome to the Five Heart Podcast Live. I'm your host, Greg Mahochko. Joining me is, sorry, let's do it. This guy over here, John Dam Johnston.
Cut your hair, you fucking hippie.
No. I've been telling him that for a year, Tweety. It's not working. And down here we've got Ryan Tweety and Aaron Rostowski jumping in already in the chat, saying greetings from the press box of the Chuck. Yes, the Nebraska Big Ten baseball game at Charles Schwab Stadium in Omaha is in a rain delay, 1-1 against Maryland. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're glad Aaron's here. Aaron, if we knew that you were going to be having all this free time, then we would have just had you chime in with us live. Fred says, don't trash talk John's hair. John Keeley's, although I think he might be conflating a mythological figure with an Old Testament figure, Samson. It was Samson who had the hair that provided the strength, and then when it was cut, he lost the strength. They weren't paying attention. They let it grow back, and that's when he pulled the pillars down on those evildoers.
Was he the guy that slew like 200 men with a jaw of an ass?
I don't know. But you can read more about it in, I want to say, Judges? Old Testament. Look up the Old Testament book of Judges. So.
Okay. You mean like right now?
Yeah, John. Let's turn this from a Nebraska Cornhusker show into a Bible study. All right, an Old Testament Bible study.
I'm a Scientologist, so I'm not going to do that. I would like to read to you about from the book of L. Ron Hubbard.
I'm not sure if that's sarcasm or if that's truth.
It's sarcasm.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Fred says, whatever, if you cut John's hair, what's the worst that happens? He can't slay 200 men with the jaw of a Pellini.
There you go.
So if you're wondering, like, Greg, your background looks different. What's going on? Why does it look like you're in a hotel room? I'm in a hotel room, which means I don't sleep well. And you may occasionally, because the desk is right next to the air conditioner, you may occasionally hear the air conditioner pop on. I'm in Bardstown, Kentucky, which is in the Bourbon Bowl. So if you like bourbon, Venmo me money, and I'll buy bourbon.
Oh, for yourself?
Technically, all bourbon is made in Kentucky.
True.
What?
Anything that's not made in Kentucky and called bourbon is bullshit.
It has to be. What? There was actually a
Bourbon County.
I saw it on Hulu, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was like an hour long, maybe hour and change documentary about bourbon, and it's got to be like 51% corn as the grain, and then it has to adhere to strict rules to be actually called bourbon instead of whiskey. So
from Bourbon County, Kentucky.
I did not know this.
Just like the Champagne Isles of France. If it's not from there, it's not Champagne.
Well, on the way into Bardstown, we did pass the Jim Beam Distillery and also Four Roses. If you're bourbonites out there, and obviously I think more people are familiar with Jim Beam than Four Roses. Fred says that the green, which is the color of the wall behind me, looks like John's bile after a Husker loss. John, tell us about the color of your bile.
I think oh my God, I don't know. This is the end of May. This is the peaceful season.
Yeah, it's the off season.
In 90 days, we're gonna get all at least I am. I know that. Tweety, your room looks a lot better. It looks like. You know what? That looks like a room that you could tie somebody up in, and
I mean, technically, you can tie somebody up in any room.
That's true.
Yeah, but that would be a good movie set tie person up in a room.
I remember when I was in college, this girl came up. No. Well, I know everybody's gonna say, Greg, you're in the bourbon bowl. You got to be drinking bourbon. I don't partake of liquor. It doesn't agree with me. Before Fred asks, I am drinking Killian's. I've been drinking off and on. This is a work trip, so I've been drinking a lot. Let's see what else I've been drinking. This was actually very good. This is from Country Boy Brewing, and I believe it's a Kentucky based beer or brewery. This is the Keeneland Lager, 5.5% ABV, brewed in celebration of the spring season at Keeneland. I don't know what that means, but that was a good beer. It's just, I've been drinking off and on for the last 4.5 hours, so this is going to be a fun evening. Also, I'm in a hotel room, so I feel I out of respect, maybe I can't yell, but I don't yell anyway because I'm usually underneath sleeping children, so... yeah. How are you guys doing?
I'm good, man. I got my wife a Peloton for Mother's Day, so.
Oh wow!
Came in today.
Did you get it yet?
Yeah, it came in today.
Oh, okay, that's what you said.
Yeah.
Oh.
Who used it first, Tweety?
Her.
Okay.
And then I used it, destroyed her score.
This sounds like you.
Yeah.
Now, I know it, and I know because I'm a long-time listener, first-time caller, and other listeners out there with the Big Red Cobcast know that Tweety used to get into some of the minutia and the granular details of lifting. Tweety, it looks like you're in your workout room there?
No, not. I mean,
your home gym?
Here. Yeah, I only use. They're from COVID. I actually can go to my gym now. I go to a CrossFit gym, so I do that like 4 or 5 times a week. And I'm the least of all my friends.
Fred says, husband of the year, you are, Tweety. Did you get her a swear belt also?
I don't know what that is.
I don't know either.
So no, unless it's like my dick. I don't know what it is. You know what I'm talking about?
You wrap it around her. This is going to be a fun show. Well, we do have things to talk about, and I'm glad that at least in the comments, you said swear belt the first time, Fred. That doesn't make any sense. I'm glad Aaron is here in the comments. Yes, the Nebraska baseball team is in a rain delay with Maryland at Charles Schwab Field there in Omaha. Big Ten play. But they've already been in action in the Big Ten tournament this week, beating, Rutgers, I believe, correct, John?
Yes.
Perfect. And that was a close game.
But it was a win. I mean, Rutgers got sent home already, so, they're out of there. I think Illinois was the first team out. Michigan is, who do they got next? They got Iowa next, and Iowa has not lost yet, so, yeah. It would be nice for Nebraska to get this win over Maryland and stay in the winner's bracket because that's where you want to be in these tournaments. These tournaments can get brutal. The rain delay is on right now, and the way that the radar looked is that they're not going to – I don't know how soon this game would be able to be started again, and they'll probably play this game tonight even if they started at like midnight. Todd and Aaron will know the Big Ten rules. I think that you can't start – well, they're in the 7th inning, though. They could probably still play the rest of this game, even if they did it at 3 a.m. But the loser of this game has to play again tomorrow morning, so that would suck.
Speaking of cranky Todd, he says it's not a rain delay, it's a lightning delay, and I'm supposed to get it right. I was going by the information that John provided, crusty old prick, so...
It's a lightning delay. I mean, they were watching on TV and there was nothing. Literally, the skies were a little bit blue. You could see they showed the radar. Stuff was coming. Apparently, lightning hits within 8 miles and everybody shits themselves these days.
I definitely do.
The game stopped with Nebraska. It's tied 1-1. Nebraska has the go-ahead run on first base. I don't think there was any... outs. Todd says I don't know what I'm talking about.
I believe that.
But okay, fine, Mr. Guy.
Am I the guy?
No, Todd.
And Aaron says if we win, we get the day off tomorrow, and Maryland has
Right.
to beat us twice, which is nice.
Right. That is a huge thing.
So also so Aaron is there in the press box. Todd is next to Aaron, and at one moment Aaron said that he's catching up on Survivor instead of joining. Then Todd came in and says, "No, damn it, I'm watching Greg now." You're watching the show, Todd. Okay, it's three of us. You used to be on the 5 Heart Show. We used to be buddies. I've met you in person. I've met your wife. We've broken bread and had a meal. And now you're going to lament the fact that you're watching me instead of crap-ass reality TV. There's a reason I sent the link to Aaron to join us and not to you, Todd. Okay?
Wow. Okay, that's the
Baseball sucks, dude. Can I just say that?
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
I've been keeping my mouth shut. I've been sitting here, but literally the only thing more boring than baseball is talking about baseball. Holy fuck.
Okay. Do you feel better now?
Baseball.
Do you feel like you're warmed up now so we can get on to some
baseball? It's barely a sport. I mean, it's only a sport because fat people agreed it's a sport. There, I said it.
Okay. Do you feel better?
I think you're making direct comments about Babe Ruth, who was a little on the Husky side.
I mean, the shoe fits. Do I have which one? Me? I almost didn't put pants on, but I did just in case I do this. But I also have these.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice. Are they yeah. All right. Fred says, thank you, Tweety. Baseball bores me as much as details bored our former head coach. He was not very detail-oriented.
Dude, I'd rather watch a Scott Frost loss than a baseball win.
I don't know if I go that far.
Okay, now we're just beating up baseball.
Baseball as a whole.
Okay.
All right. Oh, we have a troll in the comments. Don't worry about that.
So, what are we going to talk about?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Since the last time we got together, in fact, I'd have to verify the date, maybe even since the Monday night therapy, Nebraska picked up a quarterback commit. Might have happened Monday. Might have happened Sunday.
It happened like the day after Riola, basically.
Pretty much. But Daniel Kaelin from Bellevue West committed a 3-star. And here's what 247 Sports had to say about him. Again, pretty much composite 3-star. The number 3 quarterback in Nebraska, number 25 quarterback in the country for the class of 20.
Quarterback in Nebraska?
I mean, that's what it said. Maybe third best player. I don't know how they
it's gotta
do
be third
player
best
rating.
Player.
Yeah. Third best player, 25th best quarterback in the country.
He's net ranked in the top 500 of players, athletes.
Well, so you're going to say that there's 3 quarterbacks in the top 25 quarterbacks in the country at Nebraska?
No,
I'm thinking you're right, Twee. I think it's maybe third best player in Nebraska, 25th best quarterback in the country.
Right. I would say that's got to be it.
Gotcha. So Alan True said on 247 Sports smart, accurate passer who had his first year as full-time starter as a junior and was very productive. Took care of the ball with an over 5-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. Shows the ability to anticipate and throw into windows and throw his receivers open. Solid to good arm strength. Very effective as an intermediate passer. Throws it well enough down the field to keep defenses honest, but would not be currently classified as elite in the velocity category. The same with his athleticism. He can move in the pocket, does a nice job of throwing on the move, even when it is back across his body. Can run when needed, but is not a true running threat. Overall, despite having only one full starting year, he shows a lot of polish. He's not elite from the measurables standpoint, but those are plenty good enough when his intangibles and feel for the game are added in. Potential early player for a college because he's refined, the kind of guy who could start multiple years in college, hang around on NFL rosters, and compares him to Kirk Cousins. So that's pretty decent.
Unless you hate Kirk Cousins.
Well, Kirk Cousins is, getting a steady paycheck in the NFL, isn't he?
He is. I live around Vikings fans, okay? They're like $84 million for Kirk Cousins. Okay, I got a question about this guy. We have Jeff Sims that's supposed to be our starter this year, and he is a guy that we're looking at and we go, oh, well, he can run and he can throw, and that's what Matt Rhule wants to do. He wants to have a mobile, pass, throw, running quarterback guy that can, run power QB plays or maybe run an option. And then we get this guy, and he's clearly not a mobile quarterback. He's more of a pocket passer. So what are we going to do with an offense? We're just going to go, hey, yeah, this.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, Rhule probably wants a pocket passer, yeah?
None of us know. That's the thing, none of us know. We can speculate it about
Well,
it
I mean,
all.
what kind of quarterback did he have at Baylor and Temple and the Panthers?
Did he have Robert Griffin? Did he have Robert Griffin the third, or was that Art Briles?
I think that was Briles.
Okay.
Well, we'll look it up.
And I forgot about that guy, so I'm glad you said that because I was about to say something stupid. Like, when has Baylor ever had a running quarterback?
Fred says he's the inverse. Already the inverse of the quote your Martinez here quarterbacks we've had for years. Let's not forget that between Taylor and Adrian, we had Tommy Armstrong, who, had a good arm. There was a reason he was, jokingly referred to as Tommy Arm So Strong. But I think the one thing that has plagued Nebraska quarterbacks maybe since Joe Gans is decision making and like trying to force a bad pass. The not so technical term used more than once has been arm punts or YOLO bombs.
But also, when's the last time we had a good old line? 1996?
Yeah, that's pretty close.
99.
Oh,
maybe?
we've had some decent offensive lines since then. Not this bad. This is just shit.
Yeah, well, a complete O-line, though, like, we've had good offensive linemen, but if we had a complete O-line...
Well, yeah, but if you have to go back for the 90s for everything, that's, unfair to everybody else that ever played football.
Well, but it's also facts, though. Facts are unfair sometimes. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do know what you're saying.
That's the problem with the American youth, John.
Here's the key.
Hippies like you. They don't want to accept that sometimes facts are painful.
All right, so
okay. Here's the key with Here's the key with this kid, is that he is. I think listen, we all did this thing when Della Raiola was being recruited that his uncle Dominant or Dingaming, whoever's the offensive line coach, was here because, that was going to draw Dylan into the fold. Well, Dylan isn't drawn into the fold. One of the reasons for this kid being recruited in Nebraska, he wants to play in Nebraska, but he also has, I believe, two of the top players in Nebraska are receivers. Like, what are they, 4 or 5 star receivers? And for him to come in as a quarterback, we have a better chance of getting those guys in as receivers, too. Did you guys know that?
I'm sorry, yes. I zoned out because I was reading Jason Gill's comments.
You got to not just focus.
Jason Gill's comments are very inside.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to worry about Jason Gill's comments.
Okay.
He's also Kaelin has also been invited to the Elite 11 quarterback. That's
so has every quarterback we've had.
No, I don't think so. Not everybody gets invited to that.
Johnny Stanton, POB, the notorious POB. Fucking. There's
was it
Harrison Beck? Harrison Beck had to be invited to that.
Probably Tristan Gebbia, but also I want to say Torres or some shit like that. Wasn't he invited? Like
Richard Torres?
Yeah, Dick Torres.
I do feel like of the dearly departed quarterbacks, I was most sad to see Torres go. But as far as talking about quarterbacks in recent memory that actually played on the field, in this comment that I've had highlighted for a little while, Terrell Farley's Tate says that Ron Kellogg III made the best decisions. I don't know if any decision was better than that Hail Mary in the Northwestern game.
It was a bad pass.
What?
But it was a good outcome.
Yeah, Westerkamp made the better decision. He's the reason that he had to readjust. I mean,
okay.
I don't know why I'm in such a downer mood tonight, guys.
You are the poo-poo party, man.
I am,
Okay,
man.
Devon Hall, and Isaiah McMorris are two of the top 4 players in the state of Nebraska in the 2024 class, and they both catch balls from Danny Kaelin at Bellevue West. So, if you get the one guy, chances are you get the other 2 receivers from the state of Nebraska. And that's good. I mean, the kid wants to play at Nebraska. He's a quarterback for the 24 class. That's good.
Wasn't Kaelin part of that epic state championship game?
You need a guy that follows Nebraska State high school football for that.
Well, I just remember that because I can't remember the kicker that we signed. Was that Bellevue West? Was that a teammate or was that on the other team?
Like Tristan Gavario or the fuck.
Yeah.
Tristan Talvano.
Yeah, I knew it was something Italian. Tristan a pizza, Tristan a spaghetti. I don't know, something fucking. Mussolini.
God.
It's like those. West Side. Ruler says West Side. Okay, thanks.
I think he's a good pickup for the, since we didn't get Dylan, we got this guy. That's good.
I actually really stoked about it. I think that I like cheering on Nebraskans. I like it.
Do you?
Yeah.
So it's important to you that we get Nebraska players?
No, absolutely not. It's important that we get the best players. But if a player that has potential happens to be a Nebraskan, I'm more for that. Like, if you have 2 guys and they have the same resume and one of them's from Nebraska, I want that guy.
Okay.
That's fair.
Yeah. I could go with that.
Yeah. But if he's shittier, no, fuck him.
All right, so let me ask you this, because, that we'll never know, right, how his success would have translated at the Power 5 Division I college football level, like Danny Woodhead. Tweety, what are your thoughts on Danny Woodhead as a college football player? Would he have been a good fit? Would he have? I think I already know the answer. I don't think he would have been as successful at Nebraska as he was at Shatter State, but could he have helped
the Patriots? He's going to be successful wherever he goes. I think that's one of the biggest, probably top 3 biggest shames on Nebraska football is that we didn't get him.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me more.
Well, he at Shattern State he won the Harlan Hill Trophy
Twice.
and he did. That's the best player in Division 2 or F. What
Yes,
are they?
it's
best player
Division
in
II's
Division
version
II.
of the Heisman.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, he wouldn't have probably broke the NCAA rushing record,
yeah.
but that doesn't, matter unless you go to Shattern State. Like, you have to, if you go to Shattern State, you have to have something like that to be seen and noticed by the NFL. If that makes sense.
That's true.
The NFL's not paying attention to Shattern State.
Right. Yeah, no, you need someone with a bigger spotlight. So
I'm not paying attention to Shattern State.
Right. I was, because I was out there at the time, so it mattered to me. Terrell Farley Stain says Danny Woodhead lucky he went to Shattern where his uncle was OC. I don't think that was the case. He would have never seen the field over Marlon Lucky, which may or may not. Again, I think eventually as almost 40 years ago, Randy Macho Man Savage said, the cream rises to the top. But now Aaron has a good question. and I got to ask you this. Tweety, your top 3 shames.
Let's see.
Nebraska related.
Right. Yeah. Not fucking that chick in college, am I right? You know the one. No, gosh, that's such a great fucking question.
Well, you can save it for another show because it's a long off season.
It's not that long. It's almost June, John.
I put thought into it. Because there's so many little things.
Yeah.
All right. We'll come back. We'll table that. We'll put a pin in that till next week.
Okay.
We could put it. Yeah. Plus, we can ask Chat GPT.
I don't need to ask Chat GPT.
Here we go. This one might be easier. Terrell Farley Stain says he wants Tweety's top 3 personal shames.
Oh God.
I don't think we can put that on YouTube.
Personal shame.
Without violating something.
Not doing Molly sooner is probably in the top 3. I didn't do Molly until I was 42. And
okay.
What a great drug.
That's what you came up for first? That's the first thing you came to
number 1.
Oh my God.
Number 2, personal shames.
How did we get here?
Sorry.
How did you do this?
Yeah, let me think about those 2. I want to make sure I get those right. But definitely the Molly thing.
All right.
Okay.
We got just a couple more Danny Woodhead comments. And again, we bring it up because he was recruited by Nebraska, but to be like a walk-on special teams, like kick return or something like that, he wanted to be running back. So R.I. Bell says, Woodhead, fantastic. We did have, I got to find it here. Fred says that Woodhead was good, but he was a Bears fan. If he landed there, not going to do well. The Pats were the best fit at that time.
He was never recruited by Nebraska.
No, Frank Solich told him to fuck off.
Maybe not so many terms.
Right.
R.I. Bell says that as far as the 3 shames, Woodhead, Noah Fant, and Joe Burrow.
Ooh, Burrow's a good one. Nah, fuck Fant.
But I'll say this, though. But Burrow would have got...
I don't have any sympathy for Hawkeyes.
But Burrow would have been... He would have never had the career that he had because he would have never... I mean, he would have been running for his life the whole time. He didn't have an offensive line like he had at LSU to protect him.
That's true.
Now
I interviewed Danny Woodhead in 2006. Actually, he was the first person I ever interviewed for Corn Nation.
Really?
And I specifically asked him, so nobody at Nebraska ever tried to recruit you? And his answer was, no, not really. I think I got maybe one phone call. I guess they weren't interested. So
James Marshall.
I like how he didn't know. Sorry, go ahead. James Marshall's wrong.
I was just going to say, James Marshall says the Frank Solich firing was number 1.
No, Irving Fryer getting paid to drop that pass was number 1.
There you go.
That never happened.
Bullshit.
Oh, my God.
The greatest receiver in the history of Nebraska football. Wasn't he like the number 1 draft pick and he drops a wide open pass for a touchdown? Bullshit. Dude got busted for like tax evasion in New Jersey. Like in his later life. I mean, he's clearly a dipshit. I mean, he can't be trusted with money, so fuck that guy.
Matt Hansen asks a very important question. And it is timely because we just talked about Joe Burrow and how Joe Burrow wouldn't have had the success that he experienced. Would have been smoking a cigar in the locker room after winning a natty at Nebraska, although, God, we would have welcomed that. Remember when Nebraska had good offensive line play? And I remember, listen, I don't know why. Maybe it's because like we remember people's faults, right, more than we remember a lifetime of good that they do. But I remember more than anything, Jake Cotton, slow motion, falling backwards for a false start penalty. And that sticks out to me. It's ingrained in my memory. I don't know how many years you have to go back for actual solid, competent offensive line play. Probably at this point it's 2023, probably 22 years.
What year did Milt Tenneber retire?
Oh, he would have been what, 2000? Well, 2002.
Well, did one of them, either him or Charlie McBride, stayed on,
Right. With Solich.
With Callahan for a minute, didn't he?
Did he?
Or am I getting it mixed up? Maybe it was just Solich.
I think it was Solich. But, it's traditional that you keep somebody from the previous coaching staff, at least one.
Well, Solich was the one.
What about Terrell Farley Stain says that Incognito's line was decent?
Too bad he wasn't.
Tweety.
Well, he played a long time in the NFL. I mean, Cognito. I don't know. Haas would know the answer to when the last time we actually had a decent offensive line.
I'll tell you what.
I want to say in 2005, 2000, somewhere in there.
Well, yeah. What year did Callahan win 9 or 10 games? That's probably the last time we had a good O-line.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I talked to Haas for about an hour a couple of nights ago because I was going to see if he wanted to do a surprise spot on the show this week. We talked for an hour. We didn't want to talk about Nebraska football.
Wow.
So he's doing all right, but we miss Haas and we hope that he comes back to us here pretty quick. Got him a nice job there in Omaha, and we wish him well.
James Marshall goes with the 2001 offensive line. That was decent.
Yeah, they really did really well against Miami that year.
Well, nobody in the nation was going to beat Miami. Nobody in the nation was going to compete with Miami that year.
Yeah, no shit. They were something else.
James Marshall also says that as far as shames in Nebraska football history, not taking the national title tie with an extra point in '83.
I respect that move, actually.
Because he go for the win.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. When I interviewed him, and he's probably said it in a billion interviews, but I just know because he said it when I interviewed him. He said that he had a vote, and he couldn't vote for his own team if they would have tied.
Well, you know what?
Yeah,
if I say the name Aaron Parsegan, what comes to mind?
Rudy.
Okay.
John, the head injury is showing itself. I have no idea who that is.
Okay, Aaron
Parsegian
in 1966 purposely tied Notre Dame, and I think it was Michigan State, and he lived with that for the rest of his life. He tied the game to get a national title, and he didn't try to win. They had the ball toward the last possession of the game, and he honestly did not try to score at all. He just tried to run the clock out to preserve the tie, and that stayed with him forever. So obviously not with today's fans who don't know who the fuck Ara Parsegian was. But
oh, by the way, Fred knows. Michigan State 1967.
Was it? Okay. That's Jack the Ripper.
What'd I say, Fred? I'm sorry.
Yeah. So you're getting too used to that guy.
Yeah. I've had a lot, not just Killian's, but I've had a lot of different varieties tonight. All right.
Okay.
I don't need you on my ass. But then Fred says, because this was the one that I was going to highlight first. You don't go for that extra point. That's lame. Win or go home. It was our identity.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I mean, I was barely born, but that's fine. I didn't have an identity.
We could have 6 national titles. We could have 6. We could have had 1 in the 80s, Dan.
Hey, if Tom Osborne would have stuck around, we could have had 10.
Yeah.
He retired way too young because he made a promise to Solich. That's why I don't really feel so great about the whole firing Solich. I mean, I wouldn't have fired him, but I don't really feel bad about it either.
Terrell Farley's taint says Tom definitely had the over in Nebraska money line in '83, which is why he's so anti-gambling. That may be more conjecture than anything.
Oh, you guys.
He's right. The Jack the Ripper's correct.
Jack the Ripper says, Tweety, you want to read this one?
Rozier got sick and Fryer dropped the pass. Bookies ran the game covered up. I don't know about the Rozier part, but Fryer for sure.
It's all a conspiracy, man.
Oh my God, we didn't land on the moon either, I suppose.
No, we did land on the moon. There's pictures of that.
Yeah. And you know what? We did it with the gosh darn imperial standard system, not that metric bullcrap.
I set my Peloton to kilometers.
Well, you're wrong.
It's easier to
What's it feel like to be wrong?
so much more sense, man. It
No.
doesn't. It's factors. It's based off 10.
5,280 feet is fine.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Easy
It
to
makes
roll-
perfect sense to me.
Rolls right off the tongue.
Yeah. 5,280.
Oh my
Perfect.
God.
What? Or you could just say 1
100
mile.
meters would be a mile. Yeah, I know that also. Yeah, 1,000 is a good measurement. You
Is
know?
it though? It feels like an awful lot.
Not as much as 5,669 or whatever what you said.
That is not what I said. How much Molly have you had tonight?
0. I've only done it once, and I will never do it again now because Shitler. That's funny. I should have named it that. I won't take Molly ever again now because of the whole fentanyl thing, man.
Yeah, that's a risky run when you imbibe in illegal, illicit drugs.
I think we should just legalize it.
Okay. Well, you're in LA. They're close to it, I'm sure.
Jack the Ripper says nobody has ever been on the moon. I heartily disagree. It was a suicide mission. Could not be done. Much easier and safer to fake it like that. Gee, you know what? I gotta start reading comments.
You guys are destroying all of my insides right now.
I gotta start reading comments before I highlight comments. That's what I gotta do. Usually I just gotta worry about Fred Sacco, but now I gotta worry about that Jack the Ripper's back.
So.
Oh my God. Okay, what's the next
Sorry,
topic?
Fred, I couldn't help it.
What's the next topic, Greg?
The next topic is the fact that, hey, we didn't just get a commit from the 2024 class out of Nebraska. We got some much-needed depth up front on the offensive line in a transfer portal acquisition. Offensive tackle, Tyler, I believe it's Knaak?
Knaak.
Okay, sure.
And Knaak.
Yeah, out of Utah.
Doesn't he have like a 12-foot wingspan or some crazy shit?
Yeah, he is. He actually can grab birds as they're migrating.
That's great. We need that.
85 inches or something.
Dude,
His
my
wingspan.
favorite thing is watching O-line's huddle reels.
Yes?
Because it's just like a fat guy getting in the way of another fat guy. They like circle it, and then it's the guy going... And then we cut to the next play, and they circle it, and there's a fat guy going. I can never tell who's good. I'm just like, yeah, that fat guy didn't get past that fat guy. Good job.
Well, he is 6'6". He's like 6'6", 6'7", and 305 pounds already. So,
He was a transfer, though, right?
he's a transfer from Utah. He took his red shirt last season, so he did not see the field for Utah. So.
Let's get to Aaron real quick just to chime in from baseball, which I know Tweety hates, but that's okay. We have people in the comments who like baseball. Tarp is being removed from the field. Teams are heading out to warm up. That's our update for Nebraska baseball. Nebraska, Maryland in the Big Ten tournament. Jack, the baseball scores 1-1 in the, John, you said 8th inning?
I think it was his 7th.
7th inning, okay. And in case Todd is here, it was lightning delay, not rain. I don't want to be wrong again. Here we go. Aaron's got it 1-1 in the 7th. 10 o'clock resumption of play. Thank you, Aaron, for the updates from the press box of the Chuck, the Charles Schwab Stadium in Omaha.
So we got an offensive tackle. He's an offensive tackle. He hasn't played really at the Division I level. He didn't get on the field for Utah last year. He has 4 years of eligibility remaining, and he was more of a project than I don't think he's gonna play this year. But I guess he could. 6'6", 6'7", 305 pounds. I mean, my God. If our tackles are horrible, I guess we have another one.
Yeah. I'm surprised that more offensive linemen don't die of heart attacks in college. 305 pounds? That's an insane weight.
It
yeah,
is,
but if you're if you're 6'7",
yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's an insane weight, even if you're 6'7". Pat Jansen was 6'7", and he weighed like $110.
All right,
He probably have problems because his veins will be so thin.
Yeah.
I need some clarification on this one from Jack the Ripper. Jack, I know you're with us in the comments, but you said that believing in Nebraska football is like marrying a Kardashian. Now, Tweety, you live in L.A., or at least outside of L.A., so maybe you have a little better frame of reference for this. I don't know what that means.
I don't know either. My guess is it's not going to end well.
Oh, here we go. Says only suckers do it. Jack the Ripper.
Well, you would end up with probably a lot of money either way.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I don't know. She'd be the sucker. If she married me, she'd be an idiot.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
John, she would be all over your silver fox mane right there.
Exactly.
Yeah. We have a few other questions. Should I get to them?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So Vince says 98 days until the mighty Huskers get to partake in the harvesting of gopher pelts.
That's not a question.
What did I say? Did I say question or comment?
You say question.
It's a comment.
It's a comment. My apologies.
By the way, I may have a place for us to tailgate at the Minnesota game. Are you going to come to the Minnesota game, Ryan?
Maybe.
Well, we might have a place to tailgate before the game.
Cool.
I noticed how you said, "Are you going to come to the Minnesota game, Ryan?" You didn't say, "Greg, are you going to come to the Minnesota game?" Like, I get it.
You have 3 kids to raise.
That's true, and I'm out of town for this week, so.
Yeah, the chances of you.
I have one really big kid to raise. Very big.
13 years old?
No, he's 7 months old and he weighs over 20 pounds. It's cuckoo bananas.
That's insane. My 2-year-old is a shade over, well, probably by now about 33, 34 pounds. And his twin brother, fraternal twin, is upwards of 26, 27, but they feel 15-pound difference. Like the chunkier one is a solid 30-something pounds. Like just, I mean, you pick him up and you just know, oh, you're picking up a load. The other one, I feel like I could juggle Matt.
That's cool. Wasn't there a question about the over/under for 6 and 6?
Yeah, I do actually have that. Let me get that right here. We both actually, John and I both tagged that one. Matt Hansen want to know Nebraska football over/under 6 wins next season. The over/under is 6.5. I'm taking the over.
Of course.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
What about you, Tweety?
I'm over.
John?
Minnesota, Colorado, the 2 other softies, Iowa. All you need is 2 more wins. It's easy.
Illinois, Northwestern.
There you go. Boom. Done.
Okay, I'll go 7-5.
12-0. Just stop playing around.
All right.
The sooner you stop playing around and accept the 12-0, the happier you'll be.
That will be maybe August. As the season gets close.
Do we play Michigan? We play Michigan. It's 11-1.
For whatever reason, here we go. I misread. Fred says, that's because John doesn't give 2 fucks about you, Greg. Sorry, so sorry. Guy is a megalomaniac. John?
I don't think he's wrong.
Thanks. I guess you don't care about me.
No, I mean the megalomaniac part. I didn't even see your name in there.
He's well. This is about because you at least inquired about Tweety coming and not me. So to Minnesota for the game. So you don't care.
I I get these betting odds all the time, and the opening game for Minnesota is favored by 7.5 points.
That line will change.
Yeah, they'll be favored by 8 by the time the game rolls around.
I don't think you can be favored by 8. It has to be and a half, right?
I don't know. I don't know betting very well. I just say things like that.
Fred says that he's fallen back to the 7-win crowd with you, John, and God help us all. Yeah, when you and Fred are on the same page, that's not good.
Have you ever seen us together in the same room?
No.
Yeah.
But that's because you've never been in the same room.
Okay.
Because you live in an internet space, John. You told me today you didn't leave the house because you were stuck with a server with one of your clients, and it was bad times. I had to throw this ramshackle piece of nonsense together at 5 o'clock tonight so that people knew that we were still having the show even though I'm out of town. You're like, I've been stuck with the server clients and I couldn't do anything all day.
I had to talk to people. I had to deal with people, real human beings today.
Yeah, I do that every day, and I still show up.
You're not in IT.
You're right. I'm in customer relations, John.
Right. Nobody would ever accuse me of that.
Nobody would ever accuse you of caring either.
Wow. We're just getting the shots in.
I didn't mean to hit that one, but that's okay. God dang it. John, are you pushing buttons?
No.
Okay.
You were doing this. How many beers have you had?
A lot.
Okay.
Tweety, this one's probably best aimed your direction. Terrell Farley State wants to know what Pat Jansen's up to these days.
Died.
No, that's not nice. You don't say that.
I think he's a newscaster in Norfolk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think last I saw he was doing Nebraska State basketball. He had a sweet retro throwback blazer.
Yeah, I saw a picture of that. Yeah.
So it looks like he
looks like the host of Price is Right, but in Norfolk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Price is Right was in Norfolk and you were making a lot less money than Bob Barker or Drew Carey.
Yeah.
All right. So as far as predictions go, although we do this every week, the numbers sometimes change. James Marshall, I think, has downgraded himself from before. James Marshall, he used to be with me. He used to be 12-0 regular season, but now he says 7-5 with the bowl win, 8-5 with the bowl loss is a goal for the season. So either way, he has this at 5 losses. I don't know, 7-5 with the bowl win. You'd have to be.
I feel like you're just making arbitrary numbers there because why the bowl loss there but the bowl win in the other one?
I don't know.
That's just rando.
Yeah.
Just rando, dude.
John Dre says that John, we are real. But we know Don is a real person because he knows Todd from way back when. Too many decades back to count.
I know that you're real people. I'm thankful you guys show up for our shows every Monday and Thursday.
Not me. I hate you.
Just like baseball.
Yep.
My God, do you work in IT?
What's that?
No,
he works in IT.
I'm a video producer, bro.
That's kind of like being in IT.
Not at all.
Yes, it is.
No, it is. I have an actual talent.
Wow. Oh, man.
I have an actual, I don't just Google shit.
I do for a living.
Okay, do you have another topic, Greg?
I've got a couple real quick. Back to Tyler Knaak. James Marsh says 6'7" is good, or 4'6'7". That's a good weight for alignment, being right around that 300, 305. And then Ruler said this one way back at the beginning of the show. Is the Husker? I love it because we keep bringing this up. Is the Husker football curse finally lifted after the release of the new Herbie and the Coach Solich ceremony during the spring game? And I say it keeps coming up because I like to approach the Five Heart podcast the way Stan Lee, the late great Stan Lee, used to approach Marvel Comics, and that is every comic is somebody's first comic. And every Five Heart podcast is somebody's first Five Heart podcast. So sometimes we do have to rehash a little bit. So for those of you who believe that there was a curse, I would say the curse has been lifted. Now, not everybody believes in curses,
Solich said the curse had been lifted, so...
Yeah, so there you go. It's done. It's over. Whatever Frank Solich says is good enough for me.
Yep.
You know what?
I also, just because someone said something that isn't accurate, the ideal weight for someone that's 6'7" is 198 to 242 pounds.
Oh,
but not if you're an offensive lineman.
Yeah, not if you're an offensive lineman.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Wait, what are you looking at? A doctor's chart?
I'm surprised that more of them don't die young, like very young. A lot of weight, man. Your spine is not meant for that kind of weight.
Well, I think that actually the statistics show they probably die 10 years before their counterparts. But they get to play offensive line.
30, 40 years more. I'm surprised they don't die when they're 17. That's a lot of weight. I mean, seriously, 305 pounds?
That's a lot of stuff to carry.
Mm-hmm.
And I had one more here. Fred says, John and Tweety are like digital and analog fighting in real life.
Who's digital? Me?
Yeah.
Probably. You wouldn't know an analog if it bit you in the ass.
I know what analog is.
Yeah, you don't.
The shittier version of digital.
You think you know.
Let me guess. I'm just going to start saying facts about John that I think are true, and you tell me if they're true.
Oh, can I play?
Why?
I want to play.
Oh, my God.
John is afraid of AI.
False.
I'm not afraid of AI. Why would I be afraid of AI?
Because you're old.
Oh, my God. Is that what you're going on?
You're afraid of robots.
True.
I still work in IT. I'm not afraid of robot. Most of the people I work with in IT would be like, is AI going to take over? Good. Let's embrace it. We'll be in charge with it.
You know what? Fred Sacco's right. He's right. BMI doesn't matter. It's a fallacy. But if you're 305 and fat, then it does matter. If you're 305 and shredded, if you're in Dominican Sue, then yeah. But if you're an offensive lineman,
yeah,
it's not healthy.
What if you're asking for a friend here? What if you're like a husky 270, 275?
When you say husky, what do you mean?
I'm fucking fat.
272 pounds? How tall are you, dude?
Between 6'2" and 6'3".
Dude, if you don't do something about that soon, you're going to die young, man. You should do something about that.
I know. I Steel Dragon from that one movie said we all die young.
I agree. We all do die young. In the grand scheme of things, guys, you know what I mean?
I know. Here, let me put it this way. So my oldest, who's now done with first grade, which is kind of hard to believe, joined the Scouts about a month back, and they had his first like Cub Scout camp out type of weekend thing last week, and I took him, and we did a hike through the woods and hills, and all I did was I texted my wife, and I said, I need to lose weight. And she didn't respond. And by that I mean, like, she didn't say, "Oh no, honey, I think you're fine." I mean, like, her silence was deafening in that regard. Fred says, "I don't want to have a Jenny Craig intervention for you." I don't know about you. Look, you can't outwork a fork. I know that much. But I know that I could do more. So I could eat healthier, and I could implement some type of exercise regime. But I also got bad joints already at 40. Probably being 270 doesn't help that.
You want to know what I bet it is? I bet it's inflammation. I bet it's not actually bad joints. I bet it's just inflammation from your diet. James Marshall, I'm 6'1", 260 and don't look fat, just thick and muscular. Shirtless pics or I don't believe you. Shirtless pics or I think you're fat.
And you can email those pics to cornation@gmail.com.
Oh, my God.
Shirtless, pantsless, whatever you got.
Don't be mailing pics of things to cornation@gmail.
I'm just saying. That's the only way we're going to know. We're going to put them up. You don't have to. You can like block out your face or whatever, but we're going to put them up on the screen next week. So send them to cornnation@gmail.com so the Tweety can pick apart your muscularity.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Oh my God.
But based off your profile picture, dude, I'm leaning towards a little bit chubby.
Well, James, thanks for joining us. I understand if you don't come back. All right.
God, I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm an asshole. I don't know why. I wish I wasn't.
Jack the Ripper wants to know how much is Jeff Sims being paid. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is there a way? Is that public information?
No.
It's not?
No.
It should be, right? I mean,
No.
I guess my salary isn't, so.
Right. It's a private contract.
Yeah.
And then
But you know what the answer to that question is?
what?
Twice as much as Casey Thompson.
Boom. Aaron, as he prepares for more baseball at Charles Schwab Stadium, says, how has this gone from a conspiracy podcast to an intervention for Greg, a.k.a. me? This is because one of those things needs to happen, and the others may or may not have happened, and I don't care. But I definitely need help.
You need to look into the inflammation thing that Tweety is talking about.
I've had MRIs. I have little to no cartilage in my right knee.
Oh,
So.
I thought I had really bad knees. Stopped eating sugar for a month, and both my knees healed. After like going to doctors for 2 years.
Is there sugar in beer?
Yes.
Well, count that out. I drink just so Fred can ask what I'm drinking every week. So
Maybe that. So this is interesting. Maybe they should make all the NIL rates per player public, which I don't agree with until the university is the one paying the money. Then I think they should. Because if it is private, I don't want people to know how much I make. Because then
Right.
I can pretend that I'm rich and that people know what I make.
Well, I can tell you for a fact that the on-3 valuations that you see on their website for
wrong.
nil, they're way overblown.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But the Dylan Raiola numbers are probably legit that you're hearing.
well, you know, he is the best recruit in the 2024 class, so he probably can command just about whatever he wants.
I wonder how long that lasts. It probably takes one, maybe two flameouts, and then they don't do that anymore.
You mean they don't do the nil thing?
No. Like,
They don't overspend.
Yeah, like $8 million for a quarterback seems kind of cuckoo bananas when he's never played a snap. You know what's Kirk Cousins make a year?
80. He makes 80. He had an $84 million contract. So
Over how many years?
I don't know, 5.
Okay.
I think his contract's up this year. I think it is. Kirk Cousins.
That's
But
16.8 million a year.
So
here's the thing.
So what? Who's the shittiest quarterback in the NFL on the shittiest team?
Who the Browns got?
Isn't it
Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. Bad
Well,
example.
He got bad example.
Yeah, bullshit.
You can't just react. You have to tell me to highlight something.
I thought Dylan refused NIL at least until he starts. Yeah, I heard that too.
Okay.
bullshit. What's Dak Prescott make?
I'm on it.
The nil thing. I mean, you don't look at this like the guy's getting paid like an NFL player. You look at it like a guy is being paid to paint the Mona Lisa.
All right.
You're commissioning a piece of art.
That's what you're doing with. That's what every job is then.
All right. So Prescott signed a 4-year, $160 million contract extension in 2021.
Oh, that's too much.
Yeah, the NFL quarterbacks are getting paid a lot.
Like Dylan. I keep wanting to say Dylan Rhodey. If anybody knows who Dylan Rhodey is, they would laugh at that because he's not a football player. Dylan Raiola. Dylan Raiola is making more than probably like grown 40-year-old punters.
Yeah.
He's making more than grown 40-year-old men, because that's me.
Me also.
And it's not close.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's bananas. He hasn't played a game yet, and he's more valuable than Reggie Roby. Get out of here.
Like, what we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. It's a big investment on an unknown commodity. When you talk about these high school kids giving them this NIL money, it's the same as giving first-round draft picks, number one overall draft pick, a monster contract. You don't know how their college success is going to translate to the next level. You don't know how high school success is going to translate to the next level. Now, Dylan Raiola, I think, is in a better spot than like even Trevor Lawrence was, and I'll say because he's going to a place where he doesn't have to start right away. He can learn, and he's going to an established competitor. Trevor Lawrence went to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, and it's a team that was at the bottom, and they were built or are in the process of building around him, and they're having more success, yes, but it's still a dangerous ask, I think, for these top recruits or these top draft picks to just open up the checkbook and write blank checks, because you just never know if it's going to be, let's say an Eli Manning who was, a top draft pick, or if it's going to be drafted by the Seahawks in the 90s, and I can't remember his name for the life of me now. But didn't make it.
Ryan Leaf.
Thank you. God. I don't know where I'd be without you sometimes, John.
Yeah, I know.
So, but I mean, I do think there's comparisons, and it's like it's a big investment to make on somebody who's never played it, who's never competed at that level, never competed at that speed, never competed at that level of competition. So,
but they're not investing in that. Listen. This America, there's people out there that they could shit $8 million and not even notice that they shat $8 million. They are investing in their ego with their alumni association and their alumni buddies and their alumni friends. That's what they're investing in. They don't give it. It's not like Dylan Raiola has to be a number one draft pick. It's look at how much money I can pay to look. I want a building named after me at Georgia, kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna. I think that's gonna, stop.
But they're not giving the money to Georgia. They're giving the money to a kid.
That doesn't matter. They're still the people around them. This is an
rich
ego.
Rich people
thing
don't get rich. The guy that can shit out $8 million doesn't get rich by shitting out $8 million. He expects something. And even if you pay $8 million for a guy like Dylan Raiola, right? And Dylan Raiola wins, you can say like, okay, I paid for that, right? That's me. You guys, I'm the greatest, right? But if you do that and he fucking sucks, and then you got to come back and the guy that, scouted him and the guy that was like, Dylan Raiola is the next big thing. We got to pay him we got to pay this guy $8 million. It's going to be hard to trust that guy's evaluations. That guy's not going to be $8 million again. He's just not gonna. It's bad. It's bad business.
The people who evaluated him are recruiting people. They're not people you're paying. It's not being paid. You're not paying a scout to evaluate.
You don't think the Kirby Smart's team didn't do their own evaluation of?
Well, yeah, they did, but they're probably looking at recruiting services too. I mean, if he was the number 5 recruit in the nation, would he get $8 million?
If he's the number 1 quarterback, he might.
I guess what I'm saying is they're investing in the team. They're not investing in a player, and I do think this will just continue because I think the guys that have $8 million to just shit out their ass, they already have their money. They could do that for 10 years in a row and not miss it.
2 things. Where else would you get out of?
They're just.
That's the first.
Well,
that one episode of South Park.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen
that one episode of South Park.
But I just think that this will continue because you've seen boosters be involved in college football for years, and really just mash their influence, particularly in the SEC. And I don't think the nil thing won't go away. And I don't think it'll get any lower Lower.
Lower.
Well, I mean, if that's
Lower.
the case, it's going to ruin college football because the only teams that can, there's a handful of teams that can afford that. Nebraska's one of the only teams that Nebraska's one of the only teams that actually has a balanced budget. You know what I'm saying? And we can't afford that. Like, we can't afford to keep those big dogs. So the rich will get richer and the poor will get poorer. You'll have to put some sort of salary cap on it. You'll have to, or else you'll end up with, it's going to be the same 4 or 5 teams every year, and people.
It is already the same 4 or 5 teams every year.
But at least it changes. Those 4 or 5 teams
over time.
Over time, if once you let NIL take over like that, they won't change anymore because the money will always be in the same places. It's going to be the USC. Alabama will not be a number 1 team anymore. They don't have the money. They don't have the NIL in place.
Well, you would already seeing that the haves and have-nots are separated as the Big Ten and the SEC have massive contracts that are going to pay them way more millions of dollars than any of the other conferences.
Mm-hmm.
And we probably should cover that in one of our podcasts, but
Well, it's not going to be tonight.
You can follow the money. You can follow the W's. I mean, it goes straight down the line.
It does not.
Bullshit.
This is why on great podcasts, and I encourage you to go through their archives and check them out sometime, the Big Red Copcast. They had one of the hosts on that show, a guy by the name of Ryan, used to just rail on the fact that like the SEC was running rampant with bagmen. And now it's just illegal, but don't think that there aren't ways around that are providing certain schools, certain programs advantages. Am I right, Tweety?
100%.
Yeah. See?
100%. Now bagmen are legal, so it's just the rich get rich.
Yeah.
Do you think they still employ the bag guys?
The bagmen?
Yeah.
No, there's no need to.
Wow,
you don't have to keep them in the shadows anymore.
They're not out of jobs. Those guys were just fucking, goddamn it.
They're playing golf? Are they playing
And he's
golf?
back.
Is that what they're doing? Is playing golf?
Yeah, probably now.
Yeah.
Terrell Farley State brings this point up, and I don't know if y'all talked about it Monday. Turns out Big Ten's TV deal isn't that great, thanks to ton Kevin Warren.
What's
John,
that about? I read something about it, but I don't get it. I don't understand what happened.
John, fill us in on what you know about that.
Well, apparently Kevin Warren promised, I think it's the 2026 or 2027 Big Ten title game to NBC, and he didn't have the rights to do that. So the Big Ten has to pay Fox a lot of money because they were going to show the Big Ten title game.
Why doesn't Kevin Warren have to pay some money?
Because nobody ever goes after those people. Listen, if you looked at the Pac-12 right now, right, they're in very big trouble because they don't have a TV deal and nobody wants to pay them, right?
Who?
So those schools, the Pac-12, nobody wants to pay the Pac-12. And USC and UCLA are leaving for massive amounts of money in the Big Ten. And right now the Pac-12 has practically nothing. Their league commissioner, Larry Scott, fucked them so hard. And the money, he stole more money from them than Scott Frost stole from Nebraska. Is anybody going to go after Larry Scott for that money? Probably not. You would think that somebody would be able to file like a negligence or gross negligence lawsuit against him and honestly recover their assets. But they don't do that. Why don't they do that? Because when you get as old as me, what you have is a bunch of old men running stuff that cover each other's asses. And that's what they do.
Whose ass are you covering?
Well, I don't have any ass. I'm covering your ass.
It's kind of like that. What is that? A Shania Twain song? Whose bed or have your boots been under? Like whose ass has John been covering?
Oh my God!
You're welcome. I made that one up on the spot.
Good.
Very good. Good job,
John. Never mind.
But. I mean, you have situations like this, like Kevin Warren did this, and he's probably going to cost the Big Ten, $60 to $80 million. I mean, the Big Ten contract's $1 billion contract over the course of its term. So it's not like a complete disaster, but it's still pretty dumb by a guy who should have known better.
Terrell Farley's Taint asked if I could get the computer to cooperate. Is Kevin Warren the worst Power 5 commissioner ever?
No.
No.
It's Larry Scott.
Oh, that's funny because I was like, no, it's I straight went to God damn it. Who was the AD before Trev Alberts? Eichhorst. I was like Eichhorst, but he was
Bill Moose.
No, not Bill Moose. Eichhorst is who I was thinking of, but
He was pretty shitty.
but he wasn't a commissioner.
No.
We got a couple other ones here. Joel Tilson, good to have you here with us tonight, Joel. Rumors are talking about California, Stanford, Washington, and Oregon all being added to the big at this point, 28. Thoughts, I suppose.
I could see all of them at Cal. Oregon's got the money because of Phil Knight.
Stanford's got the prestige.
No.
Yeah, Stanford's got the smarts. They'll make the Big Ten smarter. And then Washington, I mean, whatever.
Nobody gives a fuck about California or Stanford.
I think from an education. Remember, these are universities, John.
Yeah, John.
Yeah.
They're students before they're student athletes, John. Come on, everybody knows
but
that.
not anymore. They're not.
John.
Not anymore. They're not. Now they are professional football players. They just don't play in the NFL. California and Stanford are not going to add any eyeballs, and that's what the TV people want. And nobody gives a fuck about their academics. Maybe four guys. There's 4 people at each one of the Big Ten universities will go, we have a
I just think it'll be funny when Stanford comes in and Michigan can't pretend like they're an Ivy League school anymore.
Washington and Oregon, maybe. You know what? I think these conversations are happening just because it's May, and there's nothing else to do but go. Oh, there's going to be realignment.
There's definitely going to be a realignment.
Right now?
Not right this second. I don't know how to make my screen stop from turning off.
I don't either.
Touch your mouse.
I do, but I forget.
Never mind.
Touch your mouse more often.
That's personal, John. Don't ever tell a man to touch another man's mouse. Anyway. All right, so it's getting late. I'm in Eastern time zone, so it's getting later for me than usual. We're gonna leave this one. Let Fred close us out. And Fred says John would be a great bag man. Runzas, cobby corn shirts, and disdain for all.
I don't disdain everybody.
You disdain a lot of people.
No, I'm a good guy.
Well. I'm not debating that. I'm just saying you have a great amount of disdain. And Blaine says, on a political note, hypothetically speaking, if the government defaults, how much money would the United Nations not be receiving?
I don't think he means the United Nations. Zero. They would be not receiving zero.
We're headed in the direction of a Super Big Ten. We're really heading in the direction of 2 mega conferences.
Can we just rename it then? Does it have to be the Big Ten when there's like 24 schools in it?
Yes.
For branding purposes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on, Tweety. You're young and hip enough to know about branding and
I work in the marketing department of a major corporation.
Yeah, you do.
You know what branding is?
I do, but I just hate. But we wouldn't do this. My company wouldn't do this.
Yes, they would.
No, they wouldn't.
They would keep.
They would call ourselves the top 10 tech company if we weren't.
It's not a number. It's a name. Big Ten.
And take the space out.
I got. Josh says, rename it. Call the Big Ten the Union and the SEC the. Never mind. He says. I see what you're doing. You're going very historical with your joke there, Josh, and I appreciate it. Blaine says you're. I don't think I highlighted the right one.
You didn't.
Sorry. Look, the damn thing keeps moving. It's not my fault. No, that was already said. Here we go. Blaine Cole says, you're telling me the University of Nebraska-Lincoln receives no money from the federal government?
Not if
I don't know what those.
Shut the fuck up, we won't.
What?
Fucking Ricketts.
I don't know. We can look it up, but the UNL athletic department doesn't receive any money from the federal government.
No, it's self-sufficient. Because we have a 390-some-odd consecutive football sellout streak. The most legitimate streak in the whole wide world.
It's good enough for me.
Yeah.
What are you going to destroy that too?
The tickets are sold. It's a sellout. You can't force people to come out.
The earth is flat. Fuck you guys.
You know what? That is nonsense. All right? That is pure nonsense. If it was flat, then you'd be able to stand on your front porch and see the Eiffel Tower. I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
No.
That's on the other side of the earth.
It doesn't matter. If it's flat, you can see it. Right?
No. There's things in the way.
Well, you already disproved your own theory by saying it's on the other side. It's over. You can't. Here's John in Chaska, Minnesota, and all the way over here on the other side of the globe is Paris, France. So no, you can't see it.
See, it's here's John and here's Paris, France.
That's not how that works. That's not how that works.
My God, we have descended into hell here.
I think we need to call it a night. I'm getting sleepy.
Ryan?
What?
Do you have any conspiracies you want to throw out there? I mean, you already said that man didn't land on the moon.
No, man landed on the moon for sure.
Oh, you said that. Okay.
Irving Fryer is mine. That's mine.
Yep. Number one. Okay. Hell of a conspiracy. John?
Okay. What?
You've already said that the earth is flat, and we all know you're wrong because that's crazy. Look at the people who say that the earth is flat. There's not two brain cells to rub together between the lot of them.
They're my people. Don't make fun of my people.
John, get a haircut,
Oh my God,
you hippie.
we really are. Okay, I am putting in the Google Keep where we're supposed to actually keep notes.
Are you going to do production commentary right now on the show live?
Three shames of Nebraska is going to be a future topic. The 5 Heart podcast. In a previous iteration of the 5 Heart show in the offseason, Haas Reuter and I did a top 5 Nebraska athletic moments. I'd have to I want to find that one in the archives. I want to see if it's changed any in the last few years. Well, this is a problem. This is a problem with sucking. Is that you can't really add any, this is the best player ever to any, you know what I mean? It's been years now since you could be able to say, oh, you're the best players ever, and then add somebody from the last 5 years, because there aren't any. Who's on your Mount Rushmore of running backs? People from 30 fucking years ago. That's it. There's nobody new. We need to start winning.
I'm pretty sure that on most, and look, right or wrong, and I'm not trying to start a debate now, but it's something to think about in the coming weeks. I think there's some recency bias, and so I think a lot of people would have Abdullah and Rex Burkhead on their top 5.
Okay.
That would be foolish.
Yeah.
All right, maybe we've got a little discussion, a little debate to go here. All right, I'm excited. I don't know what that was. I apologize, God. I apologize.
It's okay. It's okay.
All right, I think that'll do it. We appreciate all of you who joined us live, those who are here sincerely because you love our beloved Cornhuskers, and those of you who are jackasses I work with who I made the mistake of telling where they can find tonight's show, and they decided to chime in. You know who you are. I'm not going to bring any further attention to you. But for John Dam Johnston, our founder, our fearless leader, for Ryan Tweedy, who makes our show better. just by his presence. I'm Greg Mahochko. This is the 5 Heart Podcast, where we remind you each and every week that 5 Heart is all the heart you need. John?
Go Big Red.
I was looking at the wrong side. Tweety?
Also, go Big Red.
That's ideal. That's an ideal way to also go Big Red for me, too. Good night, everybody.
Good night.